'Cause I'm a wheel burner.
Hey, wheel burners. I am currently sitting out in my garage. It's Tuesday night, and you're asking, Bri, why are you sitting out in your garage? Well, I'm out in my garage because it's 11:45 at night, and everybody in my house is asleep except for me. I seem to be having trouble sleeping tonight. And a lot of it has to do with what I've seen over the last couple of days and what our leaders in this country and Canada are putting forth and putting out there. Spewing is what you might want to call, lack of a better term, spewing. So remember when you were a kid and you'd be watching Sesame Street, and at the beginning of the show they'd say, today's show is brought to you by the letter L. Or today's show is brought to you by the letter V, or whatever. Well, this is going to be Brian's 2 cents. And today's Brian's 2 cents is brought to you by the letter B. Now, I can't say the full word, and I'm not going to, but it's the letter B, and it stands for BS. Now, like a lot of you, I watched the Right Honorable Justin Trudeau's message to the country last night. And as I've stated in an earlier video, I walked away disgusted and very angry and very disappointed in our leadership. I was hoping for more. I truly was. And when he started saying things like the homeless were going hungry and we were vandalizing property. And as I've said before, I was on the ground. I was one of the first. I went in with one of the first groups, right? The Toronto part of that convoy that left Toronto. We were the first ones in the city, and I've been boots on the ground since we got there. Okay, and I was there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So 4 days I was on the ground. And I was running around shooting and putting up videos and whatnot like that. But talking to the police, trying the best I could to get in to talk to some of the organizers, but getting near them, I had a better chance of robbing Fort Knox than getting near them. They were just so busy and they were so overwhelmed with the sheer numbers and everything that was going on. So I apologize for that. I know that a few of you asked, could you get some words out of them? I did try, but it didn't work out. But just what the Prime Minister was saying, taking food from the hungry, the homeless. Dude, shake your head. Are you out of your mind? Did you really? Who wrote that? Who's writing this stuff? Did you write it? Because if you wrote it, kick yourself. But if you didn't write it, whoever did, kick them. That's ridiculous. It's the most asinine thing I'd ever heard. I stood there right at the gates that walk up to Parliament Hill. There was a group of people. They had a couple of tables set up, and they were volunteers, and they were handing out like hot chocolate, coffee, stuff like that. And there was a small coffee can on the table for donations, and the donations were going to go to the truckers to help feed, fuel, whatnot like that. And I stood there with my wife and a couple of other people, and we watched this homeless guy walk up to the can, and he put his hand in the can, he took some money out, and he started to take off. And somebody actually yelled, whoa, wait, hold on, like, whoa, whoa. And the organizer said, no, let him go, he's homeless. He's hungry, let him go. He needs it more than we do, let him go. Don't worry about it. We didn't take anything from the homeless. We fed the homeless. There was homeless people walking through the convoy up to all these volunteers that were handing out this food, and they were getting fed. And Mr. Prime Minister, you had the nerve to say that we were taking food out of their mouths. That's enraging. That's a lie. You're lying. Like, don't do that, man. The Prime Minister was disappointing. Your speech was disappointing. His message was disappointing. Brother, you could have done a whole lot better. You really could have. And I think I speak for a lot of people on this channel. The comments that came in, we did a poll, and we did, I put out a video asking for the comments, and the disappointment it was dripping down the screen of what I was reading. It was not good. I'm trying to do this and keep my composure and not use words that I shouldn't be using. And for somebody of my nature, that's very hard. Because I'd like to kick and swear and stand on the roof of my house and beat my chest and just scream my head off after what I saw this guy put out last night. And then we've got the opposition party, right? Conservatives, this guy Aaron O'Toole. I watched he was standing at the podium, and they asked him a couple of days ago, Mr. O'Toole, do you support this convoy? Do you support what the truckers are trying to do and the message that they're trying to put across and the mandates? And it's not just the trucking mandates, the mandate that the trucking and the cross borders that we have to deal with. That was just the straw that broke the camel's back. The country was just sick and tired of being mandated to death. And do you support the mandates that what is happening in Ottawa? And that guy actually had the nerve. He avoided the question, and his answer was, well, we've been in contact and in communication with the Canadian Trucking Alliance. Well, Mr. O'Toole, you didn't answer the question. And being in contact with the Canadian Trucking Alliance, that doesn't mean jack to us. Okay, now I'm wearing my glasses because unfortunately I had to make some notes. And most people that know me know that I don't make notes. I say what's in my heart, I say it's in my head, I just formulate a plan and then I say it and it comes out, and that's what you guys listen to. But in this case here, I actually had to make a note or two because I have to be right about this, and I'm not gonna tell you something that's wrong. Okay, so I actually had to do some research. And I hated doing it because I got on the old Googletron, and as much as I hate it, I actually had to do it. But he said they were in contact with the Canadian Trucking Alliance. Technical difficulty. I don't know what the hell that was. He said they were in contact with the Canadian Trucking Alliance. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know what the Canadian Trucking Alliance is? The Canadian Trucking Alliance has nothing to do with me. I'm a small-time business owner, and I'm an owner-operator, and the Canadian Trucking Alliance has nothing to do with me. On their website, do you want to know what the Canadian Trucking Alliance is? The Canadian Trucking Alliance is made up of 4,500 carriers and their industry suppliers. Mr. O'Toole, what are you doing talking to them for? 4,500 carriers aren't sitting in line down at the Parliament buildings. Truck drivers are. Small business owners are. All of us out here doing the job are. The Canadian Trucking Alliance is made up of the companies that we work for. They're not down there representing. We are. The drivers, the owners of the small companies, the small businesses that are out here. So, Mr. O'Toole, what are you doing talking to the Canadian Trucking Alliance? That made no bloody sense to me. And just so you know that I'm not full of crap here, the Canadian Trucking Alliance, I'm just going to blast off a bunch. Aside from the major carriers in Canada, they're also made up of, these are the members: Mack, Volvo, Peterbilt, Kenworth, Husky, Esso, Glass Van Trailers, Eaton Cummins Technologies, Dalmer Trucks, Cummins Canada, Bredner Trailers, Blackberry Limited, BFL Canada, Risk Insurance, Atrix Technologies. Any of them driving a truck? Are you people crazy? You want to go talk to BlackBerry, Mr. O'Toole? Go talk to BlackBerry about what's going on down in the Parliament buildings. Listen, you want to talk about what's going on about these mandates? I took the first shot, and within 15 days, I had bad symptoms, and by the 24th of December, I was in the hospital with an allergic reaction. I had blood clots. I am not able to work, and I will not be taking the second shot, so now I cannot cross the border. I tell you what, Jack, you want to talk about mandates? You want to talk about this? I live in Springbrook. I live on Springbrook Drive in Camden East, Ontario. Get in your car. Either Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. O'Toole, or any other politician, get in your car, come to my house. I can put 8 cars and 2 transport trucks in my driveway. You don't even have to drive because you don't anyway. Get in the back of your car, get your driver to come to my house, ring my bell, and come on in. I'll put on the coffee and we will talk. And we will talk about the mandates, and we will talk about what it's doing to the truck driver and what it's doing to the truck drivers' families and what it's doing to this country and the people within the country and all of the people that are being represented down at this convoy. Yeah, the truckers are going to get kicked in the ass here as being the bad boys that came down here and were disrupting Ottawa and were you know the community down there, the people that live down there. I know they're not particularly happy that we're there, you know. But if you want to know what's going on, if you really want to talk to us, come talk to us. I challenge any one of you to go and stand at the front of that convoy and talk to the organizers, and then walk your way down that convoy and talk to these drivers. These guys are all here, you know, on their own dime. Yeah, they might be getting support from the convoy fund. I didn't take any. I know a dozen other guys didn't take any. You know, they're all the guys that came from out west that drove all the way out here and burnt fuel on their dime. Those are the boys that deserve that money, and those are the guys that should get it. I don't need it right now. But you know what? I challenge you to come and talk to us. This is what democracy is. The problem, and that's not fair for me to say the problem, because, you know, I could sit here and list off 100,000 problems, but it would just be out of my own head. I think what happens with politics, and this is an area for me that I don't dabble in and I try to stay out of, and I'm sure somebody in here is going to tell me, well, then stay the hell out of it. But you know what? I'm so mad over what I've seen, and I'm so heartbroken about the way our industry and our truck drivers have been hurt. I think what happens with politics, as politicians, is they get into politics with a great idea in their head, and they're going to make some change, and they're going to be the next honest politician, and they're going to make the changes, and then they work their way up, and they become an MP, then an MPP, and then they get to the position that they've been fighting and climbing to get, and then they get there and they get worried. They stop worrying about what they're supposed to be doing now and start thinking about how they're going to keep their job on the next election. Well, that's a shameful thing to do, because you know what? While you're trying to keep yourself in office, worried about what's happening down the road, things are happening underneath your nose and you're missing it. You're dropping the ball and you're not being helpful. That's what your job is supposed to be. You're supposed to be helpful. You're a public servant. And I know as distasteful as that sounds sometimes, but you're a public servant. Just like our fantastic officers, our firefighters, you know, all of these people, they're public servants. You know, you're a public servant too. Answer our questions. Address our needs. Address what's going on in this country. Don't hide. And quit slinging mud back and forth at each other going, oh, well, the Prime Minister didn't do this. And the Prime Minister saying, well, he should have done that. Who gives a damn? You got 100,000 truck drivers at your doorstep. This is just my 2 cents. Take it for what it's worth. I'm disappointed and I'm heartbroken. I know a lot of people are as well. All we wanted was someone to listen, and we got a big FU from the Prime Minister. That's all, and there's no way around that. Everybody saw that message. We got the big FU from the Prime Minister. There you go. You know what? Put your comments in there. Let me hear it. If you think I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. If you think I'm right, tell me I'm right. At the end of the day, you know what? I want my channel to be transparent, so here's your chance. Hold me to it or agree with me. Either way, you know what? Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Give me a like, turn on your notifications. I'm going to be back up the convoy. Well, I was going to go up first thing tomorrow morning, but I'll be lucky if I go to bed tonight because I'm going batshit crazy here with walking around my house because I'm so mad. Anyway, I'll see you guys down the road.